Is this what we're doing? Is it? It's weird. Mm. No, you were boycotting. Um, t- today at work, I photographed a house that had hooks in the ceiling and blood on the carpet. Intrigue. Robbed. That's the only thing that I know about you, actually. A horse. A horse whore. Emphasis on the hoe. Ass effect to after ass. You said any suggestions. You you even said you even said clever, but it doesn't even have to be funny. So here we are. Look me in the eyes and tell me. Look me in my virtual eyeballs and tell me that ass effect is not funny. Yeah, Mike. No. haired guy. Data! Why did you guys switch places? Sorry.
Most of the terrain around is fairly flat, so you don't have a good view of what's down there. But just from looking at it as you approached last time, you would have seen most of the smoke is coming from down inside the old quarry.
I have to admit something to
And
you. Your audio hasn't been coming through this whole time on the stream.
what? Me?
Yes. Everyone but me has been
Ugh.
inaudible. So just give us a real quick
I'm
recap.
hearing him.
Oh boy.
Listening to the
Okay.
stream right now. I'm hearing him.
Oh, good. Good.
No. I hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, folks. We've changed our setup a little bit, so this is somewhat of a new trial run. But yeah, so you guys are all you have stopped. Rhea in the gunner's seat and McGowan driving the Mako at the head of your small caravan. Alpha driving the windshieldless truck with Tork standing on top. manning the kind of improvised turret that you welded to the kind of the back of it, of the cargo truck there. And you're on the main road, which is probably 20-ish feet wide, gravel, under the snow. Most of it has been covered by the recent snowstorm. And the buildings around you are, they're house sized. They're decent size. They're not like teeny tiny little shacks. Most of them are single story. There are a few that are 2-story, and it's a mix of, prefabricated structures and kind of wood and stone buildings built with materials they found in the environment around them. Similar to Port Folstone, though Port Folstone is a little more like developed, I would say.
Question.
Yeah.
So you said that like the main road, it sort of goes down into the quarry. Is that the only way to get down there, or do
There are. Go ahead and make a perception check since you're pulling into the. You have a close because your last perception check you made was at a distance.
Yeah.
Now that you're close, go ahead and make another one.
I
And
found
anyone
it was-
and anybody else who wants to make a perception check here, looking around, can do so.
Ooh, not bad.
Okay.
Oh, where the sandwich fuck?
8.
Oh, gosh. I couldn't find my character sheet for a second.
Oh boy.
I rolled and I was like, what do I look at? I don't know.
Huh.
Perception. I got a dirty 20.
Ooh,
Nice.
I got a 14.
Okay.
Actually, I got
Right, not
a.
paying attention.
And if you're rolling, let me know what you're looking for specifically. So McGowan, you're looking for any other way down into the quarry beyond the main path. What else, or what does everybody else want to be looking for in this moment as you're kind of
Just
taking a
looking
look around?
for any kind of terrain that looks like it's been disturbed recently. Like might go through and show us, where they might have come in, where they might have left.
Okay. All right, you got an 8. You said.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. No. Yeah. What was that, Rhea?
I'd be looking if we're looking at the path kind of down into the quarry.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like
wanna
at the point you're at, like you can't see down it, but you can see the road kind of slowly, kind of going in a downward angle and kind of bending around. You can't from where you are, just because you're surrounded by buildings. You
Yeah.
can't see down into the quarry, but you can see the road. Yes.
I just kind of want to do a general surveillance of the horizon and upper areas around the quarry to make sure there's not any spots someone could be hiding to once we start to walk down, they're like, well, you're
Okay.
trapped.
Okay. So you're looking for ambushes or traps, signs
Yeah,
of
just
nefarious
she's a sniper,
shenanigans.
so it's like any points where someone might be just kind of chilling in some
Okay.
half cover.
And then Torque, did you roll?
Yeah, I got a 17. And I'm just looking. You said there were signs of combat.
Violence, not necessarily combat. You haven't had enough of a time to look around, but you can see that there are like doors to some of the buildings, both the prefabs and the wooden and stone buildings. That like the doors have been smashed open. You can see in some places where it's not completely covered in new fallen snow. You can see what looks to be like blood, like streaks of blood, both red and like dark blue.
Okay.
So it looks violence for sure, possibly a fight, but that has not been. You haven't. There's nothing immediately that says like big gunfight. You don't see like massive explosions or like houses like decimated.
Gotcha.
But yeah, a closer investigation check would reveal more of that type of information. So McGowan, what you would see is that there's not really like there are a few catwalks and like sets of stairs bolted to the sides of the quarry at different places that lead down deeper, but they're like they're very improvised, built from not like rusting scrap. We're not talking like Fallout 3 megaton here, but like it's definitely things that were added onto, and some of it might not necessarily be the most stable just looking at it at a distance, but if people were using it up till recently, it probably isn't too bad.
What about that?
And Ray, with that 14, looking around, you don't see anything that looks like sneaky. You don't see any like movement. You don't notice any obvious signs of trap mechanisms, like nets or explosives. And then Alpha, with that 8 you said you got, you were looking for... Oh, you're a little muted right now.
I'm just happy it didn't smash into the truck in front of me.
Sure. And you were looking... What were you looking for again? Sorry?
To see if there was like disturbed ground and so forth, like if we could see where they came in and they left.
I mean, sure, there's a lot of disturbed ground, and the fresh fallen snow has covered up a lot of that, so it's muddied, and kind of the snow has kind of washed out a lot of those signs. At least at a glance, at a distance, you could. A lot of this stuff you guys could investigate further with investigation or like survival checks and stuff like that. But just kind of sitting in your cars, that's what you're able to see.
Yeah, I'd like to like slow the Mako down. And I want to get out. And I want to take a look around.
Okay. What do you want to look for?
Well, I want to go into one of the buildings, just
Okay.
like a house-looking kind of building, and I just want to see what like the general state is. Does it look like, people were in the middle of dinner when all this shit happened, or does it, does it look like it was like super sudden, or does it look like people kind of knew just based on the state of the house?
Okay. So you walk over to a house and go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh, I don't think I'm as good at that. It's a decent roll. It's a 15.
Nice.
So yeah, at a glance, most of the houses have been ransacked. Doors are open, windows are smashed, and as you get closer, you can see on some of them, not all, tungsten round, like impact tungsten, tungsten round impact marks, like bullet holes, essentially.
Okay.
Not like a copious amount of them, and it's not like just the walls are like riddled, but it looks like there were some shots fired and like breaching attempts. It's like the doors were kicked in, guns were fired in some houses. You would notice that some of the shots are inward, some of them are outward. They're like you kind of step inside the house you're looking at, and you can see some kind of on the doorway around you. So they would have had to have been fired from the inside. Kind of looking around, the way the furniture is upturned, and you don't see a lot of blood in the house that you're in.
Okay.
It, kind of poking around, it looks like this was maybe a house for maybe like 3 people, like a family with a child, and they were probably like, because you only see blood by the door and a little bit back, kind of what would be in what was probably like a living space, like a living room area, where there's kind of some spatter on the floor by like a blown out couch. But there's no like drag marks really, and a lot of snow has blown in through the open door, which kind of obscures some of it as well. But it looks like, at least in some cases, people were forced out of the homes, like kind of pulled out, still alive or unconscious or something like that.
I have a follow-up question. I have to go turn a light on though because it's very dark.
Yeah, it did just get super dark all of a sudden.
Setting the mood.
The sun went down behind the mountain, and it happens like that.
Oh, for sure.
While he does that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to use a tech point to create a recon drone and have it start circling around, basically just flying around to see if it can find any bodies, like living or non.
House to house.
Yeah.
Okay. How long does the drone last for, and how long do you want it to search for?
The drone lasts as long as I maintain it.
Oh, okay.
I just only have one drone besides Omega at a time.
Okay, so we'll just say you go into a different house from McGowan. Have your drone make an investigation check as well.
Yeah, Alpha will basically just stay with the vehicles and just fly the drone around.
Okay.
22.
22. So yeah, you find a lot of what McGowan finds. Same thing. In the house that you go into, you do find a body. It looks like it's a human male who looks to have been shot in the chest while he was sitting in a chair. The chair's upended and he's laying on his back, like arms splayed out, and there's just a big hole. And there's frozen blood on the floor in like the kitchen cabinets behind him. With, looks like a few little marks of like tungsten buckshot that went through him.
I'm going to ping everybody's comms.
I've discovered a body in this particular domicile. If somebody wants to investigate to see how long they've been dead.
McGowan had a follow-up question as well.
I wanted to see if anything from the house was just do a quick scan see if valuables were taken or sorry, I just saw that message. I just want to see if the house was ransacked or if it was just the people that got taken out.
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, I'm dealing with some admin.
Yeah, I just want to see if valuables were taken or if it was just people.
Oh, sure. With that 15 investigation check, yes, you would notice that valuables look to have been taken. Like you said, the weapons that were used in the house that you are in, whoever fired the gun is gone. These people don't look like they were extravagantly wealthy or anything, but most of the useful, the useful or valuable objects are gone. You don't find any medicine, really, anything that would be useful for healing, infections. And there's no Metagel, there's no Omnigel. A lot of that stuff it's gone.
For sure. Okay. Okay.
So a little bit
We
about...
can just discuss it.
Yeah, the technical issue that's going on right now is that my character sheet was being hosted by n7.world, which is where you can find all of the, player's manual and everything that we've used to create this game. But they updated their character builder, and unfortunately you can't import the old character sheets back in, and I didn't find that out until just now.
Pen and paper, y'all.
Well,
yeah, man.
Not all is lost because I do have the original version of the character sheet. Saved in Adobe Photoshop. So
we're gonna let that. Yeah, we'll have to, because that's for a different. That character's at different levels, so we'll have to.
Yeah, at least all of my base roles and stuff are still saved. I could probably look into the code and find everything, Um, but I'm on the struggle
Like I
bus.
said, you could also just take this time because is there a new character creation thing
Yeah, there is.
that like you can use? It's just
Yeah,
because you could still take some time to input. Well, everyone but me, and I mean I could probably do it as well, but
Well,
everyone but me could input into the new
and
system and get everything figured
McGowan's
out.
McGowan's on paper and pencil.
smart.
Yeah, I'm on
Yeah,
the
I'm on PDF.
spreadsheet thing.
Yeah, I do all of my N7 characters on paper and pencil because it's too in development. I don't trust the character builder.
I just didn't have
It
the
changes too
turn of a
often.
printer.
Yeah, I've been burnt.
So for everybody watching, character creators, make sure you have a backup.
Yep.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
5 fucking backups, but none of them are any good.
It's it's a lesson. You
So-
live, you learn.
That's the.
All right. Yeah. Well,
You
we'll
learn.
just we'll have to remember, Tork, that the version of the character sheet you're using tonight you're at a higher level, so a lot of your stats are going to be lower. So
I'm gonna start building them again right now. So
Yeah.
let me be kind of
Oh.
quiet.
Yeah, I would say.
sitting on the gun, keeping an eye out for sure.
Well, we started
Okay.
off at level 3, and we're level 4 now, so
hmm
you should be somewhat close.
Yeah, it's just about remembering all of my feats and stuff, which I believe shouldn't be too hard.
Well,
What?
I was gonna say to Alpha, both Torque and McGowan, the original the OG character sheets are actually level 6. So
Well, but the one that's in Photoshop is different than the one that we were using for our home games for a while.
okay.
That was at 5, I believe.
Um,
It'll say on the sheet, so Torque will know one way or another what level his character is. Okay. Yeah. So, McGowan, you find that there's very little of value left in the house that you're looking around in, and the same would be true of you, Alpha, with your recon drone. Ray, is there anything you're doing at this time?
I mean, no, not particularly. Besides maybe just cleaning guns and
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, you've done a little bit of looking around. What would you like to do?
I mean, it seems as if we have to go down into the valley. We've checked it out.
yeah, we should proceed very carefully. Keep
Can
an
we
eye out
take
for-
the Mako? Have we assessed that? Is it large enough?
Yeah, it's definitely big enough. This is like an old mining quarry, so the pathway down would
Sure.
the pathway down would have been big enough for like big construction equipment and stuff. So there's definitely room for the Mako.
should probably bring the other vehicle as well. I don't want to leave our employers' goods just sitting up here ready to be taken. So I will clamber back up into the Mako and very slowly.
How much time would you have liked to have spent searching around?
A couple of minutes, not a whole lot.
Okay. So you start heading down, following the snow-covered gravel road, and as you begin, you kind of properly start to drop below the ground level and kind of get actually down into the pit. You know where at this point the Mako is below the ground level. You start there are buildings like the catwalks, sort of like bolted and clinging to the side of the wall, and even on the kind of the inside of the big walkway, are kind of even built off of it on like metal like struts, metal supports, and things. This looks a bit more of like maybe kind of a market, like a small kind of market in between the top and the bottom. There's lots of stalls more so than there are like big buildings, smaller storefronts. There's nothing like super extravagant here. It's all sort of, it's a small town. It's based on like what the information you got from the bounty. Losan is a town of about 1,200 people. You can kind of see under the snow as you drive down, kind of the remains of some of these smashed stalls, like kind of colorful awnings, fabric that's been covered in snow partially, or like bits of broken wood and metal are kind of sticking out of it. And most of them have been overturned or smashed up. And the stores that like the full buildings that are there, the stores, like if they have windows, those have been smashed and shattered. There's snow kind of filling in those open spaces that are now exposed to the elements. And just generally, it looks like a lot of the same type of carnage and violence as was above in the residential area. Again, if you would like to investigate further, you're welcome to do so. But just driving down, these are the obvious things that you see.
Yeah, as I passed by one of like those shattered out like storefronts, does it look like there's anything left inside?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh, not so good. 11.
Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like pretty much everything's been made off with.
Whoever did
Oh,
this.
I have a cat in my room.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, baby.
How'd she get in here? The door was closed.
I've
What's
got
her name?
two.
Stella, it's my mom's cat.
Stella? Oh.
Yeah, she's all black. She's very small.
She's
I
the
love
best.
that.
Yeah, she's great. She's adorable. She doesn't like being picked up though. She just really doesn't like
Is
it.
she as small as Moo Cow?
I don't know how small Moo Cow is. She's talking to me. Oh, there she is. Hi, kitty.
Oh, little
Come here.
baby. What's your cat's name?
This one is Penny.
Here she is.
And then Cricket
Oh,
is
hi,
sleeping on my
Pumpkin.
backpack over there.
Oh, you're
Silly.
so sweet.
You have to say who she's named after.
Oh, she's named after the demon of Lord Asriel in the Golden Compass and that
Oh.
Historic Materials trilogy.
Fuck yeah.
hmm She's very much not like Stella Maria, but it's a nice name.
My cat's name are Moo Cow and Derp. So if that gives you any inclination into
that's
who
good.
they are.
Those are good names.
Now, to be real, their names are Sir Derpington Vanderderp and Moo Cow Rorschach, last name redacted, the third.
That's a lot.
It is. My cats outrank me. They have to.
Last name redacted, the third.
Name redacted, just brackets. Brackets with a black bar.
Well, I can't say it's my last name, and most of you know it, so it's like it's my last name.
Oh, fair
It's
enough.
not
Yeah.
redacted.
It's
but
redacted for
it's redacted on Twitch. Yeah.
for the just the foul people on just the scumbags on the comment section. You guys are. No, I don't know.
Since
The worst
we're
kind of people who would watch this.
since we're taking kind of a break, let me show you what I'm into now, because this is the most recent version of my character sheet saved as a JSON file, and let me just drag it over here and show you guys what I'm dealing with right now.
Stoked.
The trials and tribulations of using a system that is in the works.
Oh my god.
So all of the information is here, but the problem is that not only is it all of the information that I do need, but it is null versions of all of the information that could possibly be on the sheet at all. So.
Exciting.
Exciting.
One of these days, one of these days we'll be able to have an episode and like we'll all have known what's going on because
No,
I like
absolutely not.
until like last night I was like, oh yeah, I have a stream tomorrow because we haven't had one in so long. I kind of like almost lost track of the schedule and I was like, oh yeah, that's tomorrow, isn't it? All right, well, better look at my notes.
Wish I would have thought to check this here.
Well, it's one of those like, unless you're regularly keeping up with the Discord, it's hard to know when the updates are coming.
It was also one of those things where I was just like, oh yeah, I have I always think like, I'm proud of myself for knowing I have D&D tomorrow, but I don't like check the resources.
Yeah, you don't check to see if they made your whole character sheet null. Like, can we?
Yeah,
please,
well, like,
for the love of, could there even be a grace period where you leave both of them up? Like the.
I mean, they usually do. Like again, you have to like pay attention to the updates in the Discord because they usually do say like on this day, this is the last day this version will work.
I just wonder if someone has a cached version of the old website that I could load my character sheet into.
Someone might have it. I don't know though. That would again be something you'd have to ask around the Discord for or the Reddit.
Gonna ask around the Discord right now.
All right. Well, all right. So
there, let's.
As you guys are slowly making your way down the catwalks. Is there any interest in getting out and looking around further, or do you want to just head straight to the bottom?
Straight to the bottom, baby.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So as you drive down, like there are signs of some fires, like kind of in the residential and the market areas, but they're sort of small, maybe incidental things that were unintentional, perhaps. But as you get down, and like one thing that is ever present, especially for those of you who are kind of exposed to the open air, is the smell of like cooking meat, the sound of the like carrion birds overhead, which are they're a local species called carrion, and they are a bit like a condor, sort of like a vulture-y kind of creature, but they're not as big, and they have like serrated edges on the point of their hooked beaks, and they're kind of a local carrion bird. Black and white feathers. It's just this like the constant calling of this huge cloud of them overhead, and like there are places where it's pretty obvious where there's like a body or two because there'll be like 7 or 8 of them like sitting on top of a mound in the snow with like red or blue stains. It's not like it's everywhere, but as you're driving, you run into a couple of groups of this where like a body was left to lie, or it wasn't dragged, it wasn't taken to where all the rest of these people have gone, or wherever the bodies of them have gone, or whatever. But as you drive down into the town center, you're about 250 feet below ground level at this point. And it's a quarry, so it's open to the sky. It's not like you're in a cave or anything like that. And as you kind of come down to the base of the big swooping road that pretty much goes like almost a 360 degrees around the edge of the pit, you see kind of big snow-covered well, they're not snow-covered because they're smoldering. Big piles of what look like smoldering, burned bodies. Not immediately, but it look McGowan, especially since you're looking ahead, you see what looks to be kind of in the town square, the largest pile, and it looks like there are objects sort of sticking up out of the pile, and the piles aren't like blazing huge fires. They're smoldering, so they're smoking, and they're generating a lot of smoke. And this is clearly the source of the smell. And looking up, this is where the birds are the thickest.
Into the thickest shit.
Literally.
This seems gross. Eloreya goes, this looks gross.
We should probably take a look.
Tork is really distracted with his game right now, and he's like trying to fix like a character thing that like
The new update messed up his build.
oh man, I lost all my items. Wait.
He's all of his weapons got nerfed.
Alpha will go up to the
They're all
pile
like
since he doesn't have olfactory senses to worry about, and do an examination to see if he can figure out, what's in there and how long it's been in there.
Okay. Go ahead and make either a survival or a medicine. Either one of those would be fine here.
$15.
15. These are humanoid bodies. Hard to tell. They've been so badly burned. I mean, there's some that are obviously Turians because of the kind of the bony crest that they have on the top of their skull. Some are definitely humans, and there's looks like it's hard to tell like a burned human and a burned Batarian apart. So but knowing the kind of demographics of the planet, there's probably both of them mixed in there. It's really hard to tell. The piles are 6-7 feet tall, probably about 10, 12, 15 feet wide. There's a lot and there's multiple of these pyres that are sort of scattered around this lower section.
I think you're muted, Alpha.
Apparently, I need to be clicked on the window for it to work. Can I go through and kind of investigate or deduce how long they've been there?
That would have been part of that check. So with, you said a 15?
Yeah.
Based on the presence of the birds and the state of the flames, like kind of the smoldering nature of these pyres, a few days. Hard to say exactly how many, but no more than like 4 or 5.
Yeah, so we're talking 4 or 5 days though.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since a shipment?
It's been going. The shipments have been going on for a few weeks. He lost I think two previous shipments.
So this happened
2 or 3.
So this happened after the shipment started going missing.
Mm-hmm.
The plot thickens.
I can't figure out my login.
Which email did I use for this account?
And which one of my thousands of children did I entrust with this knowledge?
Which children's mother's maiden name did I use for my security question?
Was it the 7th or the 35th
Put my
or...
glasses on and stop messing with my contacts.
She get
He's funny.
laser
I hear it's a cool thing to do. I hear it works.
Yeah, I got LASIK when I was 23. I am now 43, and it's now just starting to filter. So, yeah, 100% recommend LASIK.
Oh, 3,000% recommend laser eye surgery. It's
I've
the
never
it's the
heard
best
anyone
money
say
I've ever
that.
spent. Yeah.
Yeah, I've literally never heard anyone say anything bad about
Yeah,
it
same.
ever.
I know a few people who've had it done, including yourself, Tork, and everybody
Yeah.
says it's great.
I
But
met
anyways,
one person, and the worst case scenario was is that the prescription stayed the same. It basically shipped it back after about 6 months. That was it.
Okay.
I have Haloing at night. That's the worst of it.
But yeah, and haloing is something that LASIK can't fix anyway. That's stigmatism at that point.
Oh,
I want
didn't
LASIK
know
so
that.
fucking bad.
Get it.
Yeah,
Spend
yeah.
the money. Seriously, you will not regret it.
Mm-hmm. It took 20 years for my LASIK before my prescription finally started to get bad again.
I want it real bad.
well, at the bottom,
Right.
you guys are at the bottom of the pit, kind of checking out some of these pyres.
Yeah.
The bodies in these pyres seem to have been here for 4 to 5 days. At this point in time, bandits probably are not coming back, so we need to decide if we want to hunt them down or if we just want to finish the mission.
What's the benefit of us hunting down these bandits that have looted this area of 1,200 people?
There may be additional rewards for hunting them down, or otherwise they may have supplies that we want to procure ourselves.
We got a lot of irons on the fire right now.
Go, Alpha. Go ahead and roll. Just roll me like just a straight intelligence check to recall information.
19.
19. You actually do remember that the third bounty on the board was sort of a passive bounty for proof of Red Corsair kills. So if the guy, if you have like proof from the guys you fought before, or if they might be involved in this, your suggestion there might be a reward for apprehending whoever's responsible for this. There's a precedent for that. Is all I'm saying.
Do I remember what the bounty was?
The bounty was. Let me look it up.
20 bajillion credits each.
Let's see. It was.
Universe.
Let's see. Pays any citizen 5,000 credits for the badges of any member of the Red Corsair Pirate Band. 60,000 credits to any soul who kills their leader, the Krogan Malcolm Grawl, and returns with proof of the deed. So you can't just walk into the office and say, "Hey, I did it." You got to have some proof that it was done. But there's precedent. So even if this is Red Corsairs or not, there's a good chance you might be able to get some money out of investigating.
There was a bounty marking on the bounty board, 5,000 a badge for each of the Red Corsair pirates, 60,000 for the leader.
Does this seem like something Red Corsairs would do? Would I know that?
Make a history check.
Sick. That was good. My dice have been in the box this whole time. I've got all the good rolls stored up. It's a dirty 20.
You rolled really crazy good last time too. Dirty 20. Yeah, so the Red Corsairs, there's not really like a single mode of operation for the Red Corsairs. It really depends on the captain. Because you guys have met, you guys have done a little bit of work with the Red Corsair captain, Jado Kinsall, and he's sort of skeevy, but he doesn't really seem like a butcher, just from your general impression of him. But it's not unheard of for certain Red Corsair captains to be bloodthirsty raiders,
Yeah.
So it's possible.
All right.
Is anybody looking around, like less specifically at the bodies, but just kind of scanning the area? Okay, Rhea, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Yeah, very, very constantly would Rhea be on the.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it! They locked me out of my account.
15?
I gotta call customer service.
Would you get there? 15? You see through the smoke at the far side of the town square where most of the bodies have been piled. And there's a lot. There's a lot of bodies. It's a big town. You see a big kind of 2-story prefab, and kind of in a flickering hard light sign on the front. You can make out the words Marshall, kind of on the above like a set of like a big. It's like a big sliding set of double doors.
I mean, I would relay this to the group if I thought it was something of interest. So those doors say Marshall.
Let's go check it out.
And I say it's with that roll too. You can tell it's if not the biggest, one of the biggest buildings in the settlement. And none of the buildings here are especially large.
Does it look more like a factory, or does it look more like a
like an office?
Okay.
Or like a meeting hall. It's kind of at the head of the town square, so it's in a place of prominence. So it was probably like town meetings took place there. And Marshal is a law, the rank of a rank or a title held by certain officers of the law. So especially out in kind of rural places like this. So yeah, you can make your way over there. Just kind of get up to the stone steps that lead up to the double doors. The doors, one of them is kind of like sliding, half opening and then closing. And so you can see there's kind of
continuously.
Snow. It looks damaged.
It still has power though.
And there's snow kind of coming in through the opening there, but underneath it, as you walk through, kind of as your feet disturb the snow, is kind of the unmistakable streaks of frozen blood that look like they were dragged out through the front door towards one of the piles. So as you guys are walking, as you guys reach the door, how would you like to enter? How are you approaching this?
Can I do just a solid look around to check for traps or see if Alpha can with any sort of, I don't know, scanner or something?
Sure, make an investigation check. Kind of as you get up to the door.
That's not great for me.
McGowan's gonna
Oh, dirty
stack
20.
up.
Nice. McGowan, what'd you
I only
say?
have a +2, so I was worried.
I'm just stacking up on the door like standard breaching procedure.
Okay. Rhea, you don't see any traps. Don't sense any booby traps or any like left behind explosives or anything like that.
McGowan and give him the old, I don't know, one of those.
If you want to hold the door open, I could send my recon droid through.
She just turns to Alpha, who says that out loud and goes, "Yeah, or that, yeah."
Okay. What's the recon drone attempting to do here?
It'll just go through the door and it'll start scanning.
With that check to Ray, just because it was so high, you don't notice any movement immediately inside either.
Excellent.
Okay, so sorry, Alpha.
Yep, no problem. So I'll go through and I'll send the recon drone in and have it scan around to see if there's any activity in there and if there's anything that's possibly dangerous.
Okay, sure. That would be an investigation check.
18.
Just kind of in the immediate room. So this is the first floor here. The first room through the doors is like a welcome room or like a waiting room. There's a metal desk along the right-hand wall. with an ajar sliding door behind it, and just based on the glow from the terminal, you can tell that the terminal is still on. And it's kind of the glowing hard light, like orange, Mass Effect kind of color. And there is a data pad with a screen. That the screen has been smashed, laying next to the terminal. There's the wall and the chair behind the desk are peppered with tungsten buckshot impact marks and blood splatter. Blue blood, specifically. And as you're drawing along, the other walls are lined with chairs, waiting room chairs. A lot of them have been like overturned or like were maybe toppled as people tried to get out of the way. A lot of them have been disturbed. And you do see one. There is a dead, just like a corpse, sort of slumped in the chair. It looks like human herbitarian, just at a glance. And with that high investigation check, your drone kind of moves around the room. Under the desk, over on the right side, you find a concealed safe in the floor. And then at the far end of the room is a hallway about 10 feet wide, with one set of sliding doors on either side of the hall. And that's kind of what you would see in the immediate entry area.
The first room seems to be some kind of waiting room. I do not detect any living bodies. There is one deceased body. I do not detect anything dangerous. They should be safe to move in.
Probably the concierge. And she, like, jacks her gun.
Tork is still on his multi-tool, and he approaches the half-opening door and, like, gets kind of bonked in the face by it.
But then it shakes his brain open and he remembers his password.
I've been putting exclamation mark at the end the whole time. It should have been at the beginning.
I thought I changed it.
All right, who wants to go first?
Too relatable.
I'll head in first, gun out.
Okay, so McGowan, you jump in. Are you making a stealth check, or are you just going in?
I'll just go in.
All right. So yeah, you go in and you see what Alpha describes his drone having communicated to him. You see the body slumped over in the chair against the wall. You see the desk, and you see the hallway, and all the upturned or some of the chairs look like they were hit with tungsten rounds. They're kind of, some of them are shredded or splintered, or like some of the, like there's wood chairs and metal chairs, and so the wood chairs that have been hit by gunfire are splintered and broken, whereas like the metal chairs are kind of dented and chipped more than they are like exploded and destroyed. But you can see there was a little bit, at least a very brief altercation in this room here when the building was attacked.
There is a safe back here behind the desk. If one of you wishes to try to open it, I will access the terminal and data pad to see if I can find any information.
And then Alpha will grab the data pad, bring it over to the computer, and start working on both of them to see if he can get anything out of them.
Okay.
McGowan's going to try to clear the other two rooms.
It would be this would be if you don't have a hacking tools, I would say yes, it would be a sleight of hand to open the safe.
I do have hacking tools.
And then it would be a hacking tools check, which is a thieves tools check. Same thing. So if you have your hacking tools, it's your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency bonus on top of a d20. If you're proficient. Just because you have the hacking tools does not mean you're proficient with them, so double check that too. Because you can still do it, you just don't get to add your proficiency bonus.
Shit.
And then Alpha, I would like you to please roll two. Which are you doing first, the tablet or the terminal?
The tablet would probably be easier to hack.
Okay.
So I'll plug it into that one.
Okay, go for it. Roll a hacking tools check.
21.
21.
Or 23.
it's too badly damaged. There's no power. It's like I said, the screen has been smashed by an impact of some kind.
Yeah.
So
I was
you kind of like the screen sort of fizzles a little bit, but you can't see anything.
Yeah. Figured it was worth trying.
Okay, and
And
then
then I'll work on the computer.
terminal. Yep.
That one is in 19.
Okay.
I've got my whole character sheet up in front of me. I reformatted everything, and it's
Nice.
It just
Is it pretty?
no, it's not.
It will be eventually. It will be again someday. So on the terminal, it just looks. There's nothing really interesting. A lot of it is logs, like appointment logs, people coming to see the marshal. You do get some names. Is Marshal Karash is the leader here. Karaash. A Turian or a Saturian name. Deputy Marshal Decius, and another Deputy Marshal Ford look to be the three kind of main law officers in the town, and it's just a lot of like people coming to speak with them, or people coming to pay fines, things like that. It's a lot of just sort of appointment times, not a lot of important stuff.
Is there any recent logs dealing with the Red Corsairs? Like specifically, like seen in this area, seen in that area, to try to like narrow it down to where they might be.
What did you roll?
19.
19. Not on this terminal.
Okay.
This terminal doesn't appear to have access to that kind of information. It was pretty easy to hack into, so you can't imagine there's a lot of like case files and like sort of semi-confidential information.
Yeah,
on
or like
the terminal.
front-end terminal versus the Marshall terminals.
I will say you are able to open the door behind the desk after hacking into the computer, and you just kind of look, and it just looks like kind of a lounge break area. Doesn't look like there was any action in here. It's undisturbed, but nothing super significant. There's a little refrigeration unit and like a little kind of coffee maker kind of a thing, but sink, but not much.
Box of stale donuts.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Break room.
Okay.
So Rhea, you were checking the safe.
Yes.
Okay, so roll your hacking tools check with your proficiency if you have the proficiency. You can, or without it if you don't.
I don't think I have the proficiency.
That's okay. So you just add your dexterity modifier then.
Oh fuck! No lie, I rolled another 18, so dirty 20.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, easy. You can get the safe open. It's a tough pick. It's a tough lock to pick, but you are able to do it. And inside you find 4 metagel and 20,000 or 25,000 credits. Good little credit chits. In 25,000, it's like 25,000 credits is like 250 gold.
How many
regular
metagel?
Four regular metagel.
I give one to like each party member.
Okay, I think there's no capacity, I don't think, for metagel per person, but I think we'd set a soft cap on it. Let me double check.
I was like, right now that would bring me up to 5.
Because I think you have to get upgrades. So let me check the homebrew. No, I'll look it up later. It's not a huge thing. I'll look it up later. It's not a big deal. So that's fine. Give everybody one, so everybody gets an extra metagel. Just a regular one. And there's a credit chit with 25,000 credits on it.
I mean, Rhea's not like too obsessed with money, so she would probably split that as well.
Yeah, and I guess for reference, for a little like for D&D reference, 25,000 credits is 250 gold. So it's not a
Put it
huge.
among 4, like everybody gets what, like. Let's not
Like,
do math again on this.
Yeah, like
channel.
between 6 and like 7.5K, somewhere in there. Because it
Not
would be
K.
5.
You said 2,500.
25,000.
Oh.
I misspoke. Yeah, 25,000. So 25,000 credits is like 250 gold. So
Okay, well, split that by 4. Everybody gets that.
mhm.
I ain't
Sweet.
doing it.
Or you could do somebody can pull up a calculator and figure it out. But yeah, that's what you're able to find in there. There's still the dead guy over in the chair, and then the doors leading. And there's 2 doors, and then there's like a back. Well, there was the one door on either side of the hall, and then another door kind of at the back, at the far end of the hall.
Yeah, McGowan, as soon as we came in, McGowan would have started going, like, trying to clear the rooms.
Okay, so which of the 2 doors do you want to check in first, left or right?
Let's do left.
Okay. On the left door, go ahead and make an investigation check as you approach, because it's open.
Sick. Not so sick. That's another 11.
It looks like with an 11, the door is badly damaged. It's hard to tell with an 11 what the source was or how it was damaged, but the door has been like forced open somehow, and it's not open like all the way. It's kind of open just enough where like a human-sized creature could fit through it. It's like kind of bent inward. Inside, you find another desk, or you find 2 desks. Both riddled. They've been upturned, kind of to be used as shelters. So the fronts of them are full of tungsten round impact marks. And behind the desk, immediately inside the door, is another body splayed out, human female, blood splatter all over the wall behind her, and there's just like a giant hole in her chest where she was shot at very close range with probably a shotgun. On the opposite side of her chest that hasn't been blown apart, you see a little metal 3-pointed star that says Losan Marshall in the middle, in sort of a circular configuration. And on her, kind of in her right hand, sort of still gripping, you find an M6 Carnifex, which is a pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the audience who are not as familiar with Mass Effect, it's a big hand cannon. You recognize the impact marks as tungsten buckshot, and the terminal. That you can see where the terminal would be on the desk with the body, but that part of the desk has been blown away. But you do see a badly damaged terminal still kind of active on the other desk, which doesn't have as much damage inflicted upon it, and you don't see a body behind it. There's bullet marks and stuff on the wall, but you don't see, and a little bit of blood, but you don't see very much of it. And if there was somebody over there, they were taken out of the room probably.
I'll go.
What did you? This was an investigation check, right?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
11.
Okay, yeah, that's what you find.
We didn't find much.
What? Does Tork look like he's sort of back in the paying attention again, or is he still futzing with his?
Oh man. They raided our camp. I lost all. Oh my god, what happened to her?
Your voice mod's not on.
Oh my god, they raided our camp.
We should clear these other 2 rooms, but there's a terminal in here.
This is a second-story building, so behind one of these other doors is probably a set of stairs or an elevator or something.
Okay.
That's something I feel like your characters are all smart enough to be able to discern, because none of you are total morons. You've all got a slightly above average or an average intelligence, so.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I'll cross the hall.
Okay. Going across the hall, that door is also ajar. It's undamaged, however.
Okay.
And it looks like this was probably not a storage room, but it was an office that nobody used.
Okay.
So like the furniture in here has been moved around. It looks like the people who came through here and ransacked everything kind of like turned stuff over to look around. But there's a lot of dust on objects in here. And there's kind of like stacks of crates, like kind of generic office supply, extra materials sort of stuff. Nothing of value. It's been pretty badly ransacked.
All right.
Okay. And then there was a terminal in that other office that McGowan pointed out if anybody wanted to check that out.
Yeah, I'll go through and check out that terminal.
Okay. So you go in there and go ahead and make a it's badly damaged, so this will be an electronics check to see if you can get it to function.
That's still 23.
That's good. Yeah, it was a high roll, but you still beat it. So you're able to repair it. That would cost you a couple Omni Gel as well, actually, to do the repair.
Okay.
If things are broken, you can make electronics checks and use a certain amount of Omni Gel depending on what you're trying to fix. So this would be 2. Okay, so yeah, you get it repaired, and it's now asking you for a password to access the documents and stuff.
Okay, so then from here, do I roll?
Yeah, make a hacking check if you'd like to continue.
And 17, that is a 22.
Okay. Yeah, so you are able to open that terminal up, and inside it's a lot of what you found on the front office terminal, but there are some private logs of Deputy Marshal Kara Ford, presumably the dead woman behind the other desk. And most of it, again, it's just her kind of thoughts on some of the people who are coming through, and a lot of it is her just making note of local quarrels and stuff like that. It seems like most of the stuff that these guys have to deal with is sort of petty local stuff. There are a few mentions of Red Corsair activity, and that Marshal Karash had been in contact with Magistrate Danvers of Port Fullstone to try and kind of collaborate on ways to weaken or undermine the Red Corsair operations to try and protect their people. Specifically from Malcolm Crawl, this Krogan captain. Malcon is his clan name. Grawl is his personal name. Who seems to be, just based on what you're reading, especially savage. He's a bloodthirsty raider who's been increasing his activity in the system. More specifically around Omara, because Omara is the only inhabited planet in the system. So there's trade and things to be had here. You also then you would find. Let me make sure I've got the right thing pulled up here, and I will add it to. Go ahead in 2 seconds here, and check the player folder for our campaign, because you will find a new document called Losan Deputy Terminal, and that's it's the most recent entry, and it stands out the most to you as it is the last entry in the terminal. It's from a few days ago. And you can either read it yourself or read it to the group aloud. But it is there for everybody in the group to read. So.
It reset the level on my character. Seriously though, it did. The new character sheet, you can't level up.
Woof.
Weird.
I'm stuck at level 1. And you can't
There's
manually change your health or your shields.
There's got to be a way to do that stuff, but I can't look at it right now. But
It's killing me.
yeah, that's annoying. But these things happen. Yeah. So.
So it seems like the marshals here were working with the ones on the site. I found communications that have stated that Field Officer Barton Crow has spoken with field officers from the site, stating that they are correct. The site is of Prothean origin. They have thus far.
You are looking at that. That's from the LMD camp that you guys went to early on in the campaign. This is the Losan Deputy Terminal, which I just added to the ME5E player folder. Because I didn't put. Let me put it into the proper folder. It's the files. It'll be in the files folders and found documents.
Heard.
So I found the following communication: Marshal Crash, Deputy Marshal Kara Ford, badge number 4366-2. Marshal Crash brought in one of the Red Corsair captains that's been harassing people for months today. Victor Sabin, one of Malkin Grull's top men, or so I've been told. He's got him sedated in one of the holding cells down below. Word is that he plans to get some information out of him before sending him along to the magistrate in Port Fullstone. They've got more muscle and a more secure jail there, and a prize like this will have his pirate buddies stirring up trouble on his behalf in no time.
She was right about that.
So based off this communication, it looks like they had the Red Corsairs captains, or one of them, being held, Victor Sabin, and they must have came to collect them and killed everybody in the process.
It does look that way.
You're still at the same impasse. We should decide if you want to attack the Red Corsairs themselves, collect the bounty, and keep them from attacking more towns, or if we should continue on with the Prothean item.
Piece of
Seems to me if they can
information.
take out a town of what?
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it seems to me if they can take out a town of 1,200 with the men and women and ladies and gentlemen they have now. I'm not sure how 4 of us would take them out alone without an elaborate plan. I mean, we've blown up deer. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it might be tricky.
2 things quickly. Alpha, an additional piece of information that you would, with that check, you would have found is also that in the same in Kara Ford's logs from probably about a month and a half ago they also the marshal of Losan and the magistrate of Port Folstone, their teams working together, did also in a firefight manage to capture Grawl's brother, Malcon Crail, and he's being held in Port Folstone currently. So that's another piece of information that you would have learned. It's just not written in a document. And God, what was the second thing? I was gonna have anybody who wants to make an intelligence check, real quick.
23.
Okay. Anyone else?
Oh God.
McGowan?
I shoot
Did you-
stuff.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, fair enough.
Guns go boom.
Nope.
Okay, Alpha. You have the advantage of having computer digital scanners and things like that that are able to kind of collate information more quickly. There were a lot of bodies out there, but for a town of 1,200 people, it didn't look like it was that many. Like comparison, like a few hundred certainly, but probably not. It didn't look like just kind of thinking in your head, comparing the information that you've gleaned.
Based off the fire,
Probably not everybody in the town was thrown into a pyre.
based off the size of the pyres outside, most likely the entire town wasn't killed here.
Some could have been taken.
Many were probably taken.
Well,
I know you organics like to sleep well at night, so you would probably sleep better if we rescue them. I know I would sleep better having that extra money in my account.
P.S. Did we ever figure out how much everybody made?
Oh no.
25,000 divided by 4. Somebody can just punch it into a calculator quick.
6250.
There you go.
Alpha is a calculator, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hunting down these red corsairs is looking more like a win-win situation for us the more we find out.
Doing the math, if we take out the captain alone is worth 60,000. That is 15,000 apiece, plus an extra 1250 apiece for each additional bandit we kill and take the badge of. If there are 20 bandits there, ka-ching.
Catching.
The double ka-ching. Rare but worth it. I don't know. I agree. I apologize. I forget who said it, but I was like, we do have our swords in a lot of pots right now, so to speak. And a little extra cash is great, but I don't know. I'm kind of stocked up right now, I think. What's up, Derp?
Yeah.
You're being a little vocal boy. Okay, cool. Well, I guess you're gonna hang out on stream with me.
There's nothing to say that we're going to get paid for delivering this shipment to Losan because there's no town to deliver to.
That's true.
So at the very least, we could go back to Port Fallstone, tell the Elcor, whose name I'm absolutely forgetting.
Delzino.
Delzino, that's the one. That we can't deliver the shipments. My guess is that those red corsairs that we ran into on the way out here have have something to do with this as well. They were part of that crew, so we should talk to the brother who's being held in Port Falston. See what he knows.
You do also have
Sounds
make an intelligence check, McGowan. Just a memory recall. Slow DC.
20.
Well, there you go.
Hey.
You do also have Jado Kinsall, who you have a somewhat friendly relationship with.
That's true. That is true.
Who is a Red Corsair captain. So he's another possible lead.
You're muted.
Who are you talking to?
Ray.
Rhea.
That was a really good face, by the way.
you know what? I should stop doing that because one time I did it on my channel and someone saved it and then made it an emote and I can't. It's their emote, so I can't get rid of it. And it's cursed in my channel. Like we've tried to ban it. It's funny, like it's a joke, but we've tried to ban it. I fucking hate it. It's so ugly.
Well, at this point in time, we can either go through, we could radio back to see if they give us any leads, or we head back to town and see if we can figure out if we can go through and interrogate the important guy there to see if he can tell us where the base is at. Or we just, either way, we got to go back to town, and then if we don't do it, at least we're back into town and go work on the Prothean artifact.
Exactly. That was going to be what I was going to say. It was like going back to town's our next step anyway. So.
All right, I'm gonna head back to the cargo truck.
Okay. There is a second floor that you have not investigated yet.
Let's go
There's
investigate
the third door in the back of the room. Yeah, just don't want you guys to.
Can I make it canon that Ray said that though? Like everybody just started walking out, and she was like, "Yo, there's a second floor that we haven't looked at all. Where are you going?"
She just said it. So there we go.
We investigated the first floor. We figured you would cover the second.
Oh, just assuming I would pick up the extra work for you.
Well, walking over to the last door at the back of this hallway, there are two hard light signs, one on either side of the door. The left sign says Marshal's office and hearing chamber, and the sign on the right side says basement/holding cells. And
I can investigate the marshal's office to see if I can find any information. If any of you want to look down in the holding cells to see if there's any clues.
I'll look in the holding cells.
Tork, you want to go anywhere?
God damn it, it reset all my controls to default. What is happening?
Can we make it canon that Alpha is secretly, remotely changing the game as Tork is working on it? He just doesn't realize it.
Tork, just so you know, like your base stats won't have changed, I don't think. So as long as you're adding will be a +2 proficiency to your rolls, it should be pretty easy to figure out your skill checks actually, because those.
Actually, I've got all of like my like I don't have to re-roll anything. All of my base stats and stuff are into the new thing. Even all of my powers, all of my gear is here. But as the new character builder sheet is really cool and like it manages everything a lot better, but it's not finished yet. So I can't put any of my traits, extra class features, or feats in. I can't manage my maximum HP. I can't fucking level up. So like,
interesting. We'll figure out a solution.
They killed the old character builder sheet and implemented a broken one. Like, why, dude?
Can't you go to the change? Well, they've all been kind of broken. The old one was broken too. didn't have a lot of stuff that's nice. And so that's that's like we were saying. It's kind of part of the risk we've taken by running a system that's not actually like in a final draft version. So, but we'll work it out.
His cat is living his best life right now.
All right, so if you want to make any checks, Tork, don't feel like you have to skip out on stuff because your sheet's a little wonky. But
I can make rolls. I have.
Okay. So you guys are deciding who's.
Water.
You guys are splitting up. It sounds like 2 people are going down to the basement with the holding cells, and 2 people are going to the magistrate's office on the 2nd floor, or the marshal's office on the 2nd floor.
I'm going, to the cells.
Okay. Ray's going to the cells. McGowan, you said you're going to the office?
Alpha said he'd go to the office. I'll go to the office as well.
Okay, so I guess, Tork, if you're going with Rhea, it sounds like, unless you want to, do whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Tork, do you want to go to the cells with me?
Thank you for calling G&G customer support. If you are having trouble with your character, press 1.
Tork, that was the exclamation point, not a 1, right?
I got past the login screen. That's not the problem anymore.
It's like trying to mod Skyrim.
I swear I got hacked.
All right. Who wants to go first? 2nd floor or basement? It's up to you guys.
2nd floor.
Okay. Well, both the doors to the basement and to the 2nd floor are open. They've been visibly forced open. So you open the door at the back of the hallway. You step through, and then there's a door to your left and a door to your right. Both of them have been basically smashed off the hinges. And so, Alpha and McGowan, you head up to the 2nd floor, and there are trails of dried blood on the stairs. And when you get up to the top, there's another door at the top of the steps, which has also been forced open. And you step into a large room. This is probably the hearing chamber, because it very clearly resembles a courtroom or kind of an assembly hall. There's lots of benches and chairs which look to have been kind of arrayed in some sort of straight, kind of nicely organized, but a little disjointed and cockeyed. But a lot of them have been upturned or kicked out of the way, damaged. And there's a big podium with a long metal table where there are 3 chairs behind it at the far end of the room, kind of up on a dais, overlooking the benches. And there's a containment cell kind of to the side of that, like a hard light containment cell. So it's got a top, like a projector on top and a projector on the bottom, and those create the hard light barrier, which is currently deactivated. And it's big enough to hold an L core, so it's pretty big. 10 by 10.
Yeah.
So this is like a courtroom or like a public assembly hall kind of a place. And there's a single door on the far right. Far right back corner. But you can look around the room or do whatever you like.
If you want to search through this room, I will check the room in the back.
Sounds good. I will check the room.
Make an investigation check, McGowan.
Sweet. 17.
You can tell there was a bit of a gunfight in here. There's blood splatters on the ground, and there's plenty of tungsten projectile damage on the walls and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of specific things to find in here, but you find evidence of at least a very brief exchange of gunfire, as whoever came up from the bottom was fired on and fired back at whoever was in this room. That's it's such a brief check. Both of you can go into the other room if you'd like, McGowan, or you can post up outside. So that door, Alpha, has been visibly forced open, and looking inside, it appears to be like a big office, sort of a spacious office room. And there's a desk on the far side that's been upturned and used probably as a barricade, some kind of shelter against gunfire. There's more tungsten projectile damage on that door facing side of it. Behind that is another door. And go ahead and make a perception check.
Six.
You see some blood, more impacts on the inside of the door, so things fired from behind the table, or from that direction anyways. And there's more blood on the desk and the floor and on the wall behind the desk, so there was a continuation or a second stage of the gunfight that happened in the room you just came from. And behind the door behind the desk is locked, but there's a hard light sign labeled Armory. And just by looking at it, you can tell that it was attempted to be forced open, but those who were attempting to force it open did not succeed. The door is still closed.
Is it worth going through and using a grenade or two to see what's in this armory?
Depends on what's inside the armory. Something in there might go boom if we blow it up.
Yeah, I don't have. The best I can.
Yeah, taking a look at it, the best I can do is I can go through and I could try to hit it with a cryoblast to freeze it.
There's a terminal. You could try it. You could use.
Oh, so there's a terminal.
There's a terminal. Yeah. But it looks like whoever tried to force it open either chose not to use the terminal or was incapable of using it to.
Oh yeah, if there's a terminal, I will always use the terminal first.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said that. It's on the desk and it's damaged, like the one before. So you'll have to use a couple more Omnigel to repair it. But it's another electronics check with 2 Omnigel.
That is a 23.
Yeah, there you go. 2 more Omnigel to do that, but you are able to repair it. And then. Yeah, go ahead and attempt a hacking tool. You see, it's asking you for a login, login information, security stuff.
And that is a 19.
19. You're doing pretty well. And then you're not, and you make a couple of goofs in the process of hacking the terminal, and it flashes red. And then looking above both of you standing there, you see a sentry turret drop down from the ceiling, and it starts to shoot at you both. You have like a split second to react before it opens fire, as it's sort of like calculating targets. So if there's something you want to do as it's about to shoot, you have a moment to do that.
Like, I was gonna jump over the desk and go for the door.
Okay.
Alpha and Omega will do the same.
All right. Well, it's going to take a couple of shots. It's going to miss you, McGowan. You're able to get to the door just as it spins up and starts firing, so you take cover behind the wall. And Alpha, you are not so lucky. You hit with a 19.
Yeah, that hits.
And you are going to take 10 points of piercing damage and 6 points of radiant damage. As you run out of the room. And it's in that moment that you realize that the gunfire around the outside of the door, some of it very well could have come from this turret. So you guys both kind of backs to the walls as the machine gun is firing, and it takes a couple seconds, but eventually it stops, and the kind of clattering and the whining of the gun, falls to silence again. And meanwhile, down in the basement, Tork, are you going with Rhea into the basement, or are you staying on the ground floor?
No, yeah, I'll go into the basement with her.
Okay. So meanwhile, you two walking down into the basement. The stairs descend down about 15 feet. It's not very far. It's just metal steps. Coming down to the bottom, there's another open door, like an open security door. And stepping through that, you see 11 more doors. One immediately...
11?
Yep, the one immediately to your left is labeled storage/supply. It's closed, and then it looks like the other 10 rooms are cells, or holding cells, lining the hallway further down.
I don't know. I gave you all of the answers to my security questions, so they should give you access to my account. I just want them to put my character back the way that it was before. I know that they have the data saved somewhere.
I'm not looking for anything extra.
It's nothing extra. I just want my character back the way it was before. I didn't screw this up. I played last night with the family, and now everything's screwed up. There's a bug in the system somewhere, and I just need them to fix it. Can you please take care of it for me? I have 11 doors ahead of me. Thank you. Let me know if you have any trouble. Hopefully, just don't be like, do you know who I am? But be like, do you know who I am?
Like a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Alright, what do we got ahead of us? What's going on here?
11 doors.
One of which looks like it's a storage closet.
Let's see what's behind door number 1. I try the handle.
Really? You just want to open all of the doors?
The storage closet opens up. It's unlocked. And inside, you see it's mostly what you'd expect in a storage closet. There are like some mops and things, but there is also a crate, kind of an unopened metal kind of toolbox type looking thing, and a little bit bigger than a normal toolbox. And you see a deactivated, or like a powered down, it doesn't look like non-functional. It looks like it's asleep. A janitorial mech, just kind of like standing in the corner, powered off.
Cute. Does it have a name?
You can't see a name. It doesn't have any clothes on it or anything. It's just, like a little robot guy chilling.
Scary.
He might have a name.
Janitor
I dust
bot,
him off to
activate.
see if he has a name.
It does not activate verbal command.
Damn. Nothing works.
Ray. Oh, sorry, Tork. What were you gonna say?
I go over to the crate and open it.
The crate, you flip it open, and you see inside 10 Omnigel canisters.
Damn.
So these got missed in the ransacking, it seems like.
Oh, nice. This janitor bot guarded these Omnigels for us. Thanks, buddy. And I slug him on the shoulder.
And at that, he goes, and powers up, turns on.
Oh,
And it doesn't say
Ray
anything.
loves that.
Just Loki, janitorial mech activated. Awaiting instruction.
Oh, his name is Loki.
Well, Loki is a type of mech, but yeah, that could be his name. His name is whatever you want it to be.
It's Loki.
Loki's.
He is now ours.
Identify
He is our
yourself.
janitor bot.
Identify yourself, janitor bot.
This is Unit 343, Janitorial Services, otherwise known as Hector.
What?
Hector.
I love that even more.
Let's see what he can do. Is there any like jar of liquid or like anything like a can of paint or anything in this room?
There's like some mops and like, kind of sort of space age type cleaning supplies.
There's cleaning supplies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I pick up a jar of something, just the closest something,
Sure, just some like bleach or something like that.
and I crush it in my
Oh my
hand.
god, you can call him Bounty.
And I crush it in my hand and say, "Clean this up, please."
He briefly looks down at the mess, extends a hand. Please allow me to take that rubbish for you, sir.
Ah, thank you, Hector.
And he takes it and just kind of holds it in his hand. Kind of comes out of his corner. Kind of looks around, looks at the spill on the floor. And there's a little like kind of a portable trash can like kind of on wheels. So he kind of reaches an arm out very in a very like mechanical kind of robotic programmed way and just lets go of the crushed bottle, falls into the trash, and he says, "It will take me a moment to get a mop ready, but I will have this cleaned up straight away for you."
I love him.
And he kind of like pulls out like a very used mop bucket, like it's kind of a stainless steel mop bucket, and he kind of gets like a grungy old mop and takes it over to a little, like floor sink, that they have in like, janitor closets specifically for emptying and filling mops. And he kind of turns the water on and puts a little soap in and kind of just stands there waiting for the bucket to get full enough.
Good job.
Oh.
I hope he does I hope he cleans it nicely. I've been on the line with customer service trying to fix this stupid game for the last 2 hours. It'd be nice to see something come to a head for once.
Rhea definitely has like a little soft spot for AI that is not given the opportunity to like be fully intelligent, and so she just loves them.
Well,
I do.
Yeah, something with something like it's a Mass Effect specific lore thing. For those who don't know, in the audience, in Mass Effect there are artificial intelligences, which are what Alpha and Omega are, and then there are virtual intelligences, VIs, and that's typically what something like this is, where they don't have sentience, they have complex programming that allows them to fill specific tasks. So they're basically it's like Siri in everything, basically, is what a VI is, but it's a bigger computer, faster computer. But it's that kind of a thing. So if they have personalities, they're pre-programmed. They're not learned personalities like they would be with an AI.
I take 3 Metagels out of the crate and give them to Ray.
Omnigel.
Omnigel. Take 3 Omnigel out of the crate and give them to Ray.
Okay. And you keeping the other 7 for yourself at the moment?
Yeah, not for the moment.
Okay. So while Hector gets his mop bucket ready, what else would you guys like to do?
Tell him how good of a boy he is.
As I'm walking out, I tell him to, Hector, please come find us when you've cleaned this up.
Very well. I will do this.
Very well.
And
Tork.
The Loki mechs have very inhuman faces. They're kind of like kind of flashing, or like not flashing, but like big red big red lights, like almost like a power symbol on like an older computer or something like that. Kind of configuration as their face. So they have sort of a human shape, but beyond that, they're very machine-like. Again, fitting with their VI nature. They're not true intelligences. They're just very efficient and very complicated computer programs. They're like VIs make great like secretaries. Because they can just catalog so much information. Okay, so
Yeah, but Rhea would be on the side of fighting for them to like not be secretaries.
Why? They're happy doing whatever they do.
If you know what, if they're like really vibing, that's fine. But I'm sure there's one
Yeah,
little adorable like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer character that wants to be a dentist, and I want to let him.
The VIs are more like a Roomba. Like they've got a few functions that they are programmed to fulfill. They don't have the ability to learn or develop personalities.
I didn't say Rhea was entirely rational.
Okay, fair enough. I just VIs are kind of an interesting take on AIs and just trying to get people who are not familiar with Mass Effect a little up to speed with that. Okay, so basement. You guys looking around anymore, or what would you like to do next?
Next door.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 11 doors, so I guess.
They're all jail cells and they're all open.
So
they're you can kind of just poke your head and look around.
Okay, yeah, we're just kind of looking around then.
Yeah, go ahead and both of you make an investigation check for me.
14. 14?
15.
Yep. Okay, yeah, both of you. I'd say Tork, with your higher roll, will say that you are the one who makes this discovery. You find one of the cells where there are words that have like a few words that have been look like they've been like scratched or carved into the stone or the metal. Excuse me, the metal walls of the cell, and it spells out "Die Karash," and slumped against the wall in the cell, kind of sitting in a pool of dried blood, is a decapitated Turian with the three-pointed star badge that says Losan Deputy on his chest.
Well, this guy's seen better days.
Yeah, there's the head is nowhere to be seen. There's no head.
That's not what you
I
want.
wonder if they took it as some sort of proof they've done it.
Yeah, someone's out here collecting heads, and that's never a good thing. Unless it's me.
You collect heads.
Only if inspiration strikes. Not usually.
It still seems like a tiny bit alarming. I feel like I didn't know this about you. Do you have any heads on you right now?
Oh my god, I was just trying to turn a phrase.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming I'm gonna have to tell, like, McGowan about this, that you have heads on you. Do we have to be concerned about this?
I don't have any heads. I have Omnigel.
That's exactly what somebody who has heads on them would say.
Search me.
Anywho, no. You've been searched plenty, from my knowledge.
So it's at that point that you guys hear the loud sounds of a machine gun firing a couple floors above you. And it doesn't last very long, but it's very loud, and it punctuates the conversation, interrupting
Within the
you.
first, like, 3 shots, Rhea would be like, that's a machine gun. Like, she would instantly know what it is.
Yep. Sentry turrets like this are pretty common.
And she grabs Tork's hand and starts running.
Tork is too big to be moved this way, and your hand probably would just slip off of mine and I wouldn't move.
Oh, I would like it much better if you held tightly so that I just ran into nothing and fell over.
Just
That's a lot more slapstick.
dislocated your shoulder via handshake.
I mean, spice it up.
So Rhea's running for the steps. Tork, what are you doing?
Waiting to see if my guys figure it out or not.
Figure what out?
I know that we don't have a machine gun you would be using.
Yeah, but they can handle themselves.
Can they?
Can't they?
I don't know, it's their lives on the line, so I guess we can risk that.
Let's just see if it keeps shooting or not.
Rhea keeps running.
Yeah. A few seconds later, Tork, it does stop, but Rhea's already up the steps, and you're alone in the basement with Hector, who pops his head out. Sir, I have cleaned up the mess you made. You asked me to report it when I had completed the task. Is there anything else you require of me?
Yeah. Do you know where this guy's head is at?
He kind of walks over, sort of C-3PO. Looks in. It is not in this room.
I'm obsessed with him. If you do not invite him to somehow just like hang out, I'll be upset.
No, it is not, Hector. No, it is not. Want to help me look in the other rooms?
They're all empty jail cells. Nothing really to see in there. If there were people in there, they've been released or taken off with the rest of the inhabitants of the village. And it's just this one cell where there's signs of gruesome activity.
What does this name mean on the wall?
Marshal Karash is the Marshal of Losan. He is currently occupied and away from the station. I could take a message for him if you would like.
Yes, please take a message.
Recording message. And his face goes from, or like the light on his face goes from red to yellow.
Hey, it looks like some people are after you. They're collecting heads and whatnot, so, watch your back. End message, Hector.
Message recorded. Message sent to private logs of Marshal Karash. Is there anything else I can do for you, sir?
Hang
Well,
out with us forever. Rhea ran up the stairs, but she would be. I'm gonna fight you.
How could you leave Hector behind like this?
I thought you would follow me. I thought you would do the right thing and go and help our friends. Apologies, I guess.
I'm just not worried.
So by this point, Rhea, you've reached the second floor, and the gunfire has stopped, and you see McGowan and Alpha with their backs to the wall on either side of the door in the far back corner of the assembly hall. And yeah, you see what look to be fairly fresh tungsten impact marks on the ground, like kind of inside the doorway, and on your guys' side of it. And McGowan, you guys with your backs to the door, you see Rhea like run up the stairs and come charging into the room.
She runs up and she goes, "What's going on? Are you fine?"
Yeah, I think we're good. There's a sentry turret.
God damn it, you made me leave Hector. And then she takes off the other way to go run down.
McGowan looks over at Alpha and goes, "Who the hell's Hector?"
Alpha, who does have some bullet holes in him, because he did get shot a bit by the turret. 16 points of damage a bit.
Oh wow, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
it was
like how
10
McGowan
points
just
of
said,
piercing.
yeah,
And
we're fine. So she.
there's a janitorial mech that needs infection.
Ooh, new toy. We should inspect. You may have parts I can use. Ha ha. Ha ha.
I'm already running back.
Okay.
He only got a little bit shot.
Alpha and
It's like
Alpha
being a
and
little bit pregnant, bro.
Alpha and McGowan. Yeah, right.
Doesn't
Sort
really
of-
work like that.
It's not one or the other.
Well, I mean,
It'll
forget the
buff out.
can. I'm a little bit pregnant. I just got to take this version out, install the updated version. A couple months, do it again.
Just a little bit.
Did the deterrent stop firing and go back into the ceiling?
It is still kind of like on alert. You can see it like swiveling, kind of like looking for targets. When you hacked the computer, you triggered the security system, so you don't really know when it will go idle again. Or when you fail to hack the terminal.
So I want to go to like the back side of the courtroom, and then kind of scoot over towards the door to see if the turret sees all the way back there, or if it's just to the entryway to the turret room.
Okay, so you back along the wall there, moving, and as you kind of stand out in the open, how long do you want to stand exposed?
Just a quick poke out and peek out and peek back in.
That long? It doesn't track you, but you can still see it swiveling.
All right, then I'll just stay out there just a little bit longer to see if it tracks me.
Yeah, if you stay out there for a couple of seconds, eventually you see it like kind of stop and adjust and aim at you, and as you can hear it like kind of spooling up. And as you back out, like you see like a spurt of gunfire, just like pepper off the wall, a couple feet from you.
Yeah. I am going to... Alpha is going to go through and peek in, and then go through and hit it with an overload.
Okay.
And then scoot out of the way. And then Omega is going to peek in, hit it with an incinerate, and then scoot it out of the way.
Okay. If you're taking enough time to cast, to use an action, it will also get to shoot. But you do get some cover. You will get a +5 to your armor class because you're behind the wall. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I would say I'll be behind the wall, so I'll have to shoot through the wall.
So why don't we do the alpha stuff first? I'll roll to shoot to target alpha. That's gonna miss with an 8.
Yeah, Alpha's got a 16.
So an alpha for his overload.
Overload. Yeah, 19. That hits.
It will hit. So
right,
go ahead and roll.
Is... Sorry, buddy. 6, 11, and 14. All right, so it's 14 damage, and it is primed electric.
It is. You do with the overload. You do notice it is a mechanical device, so it is vulnerable to the lightning damage from the overload. So your damage is doubled to 28.
Awesome. So
and then it's going to shoot. Then it will target at Omega. It will target Omega while Omega casts his ability, and that's going to be another miss with a 6.
All right. So for the incinerate, 16.
16. Okay. It's still functional, but it's taking damage. Let me do the math.
Oh, I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
Oh, that was to hit. I'm sorry.
Oh, it did hit. Yes, it did. That does hit.
All right, 2d10. Oh, that's 12. There's 10. Oh, 2 10s. All right, so that is a 13 for damage.
Okay.
And then primed electrical. That's right, the website just updated. So let me see if I can find the priming thing again.
You should just be able to find it from the rules tab, I would think still. Here I can rules, combat, or power casting probably. Range, duration, targets, primers and detonators. Condition primed lightning. Each creature within a 4-meter radius, including the prime target, suffers 3d4 lightning damage. So just the.
All right, so that is
just the turret.
1.
And this will be doubled because of the vulnerability.
8. So that'd be another 16 lightning damage.
Okay, it is still functional, but it's very bad. A lot of the metal paneling has been busted off from the incinerate. It's sparking and crackling, but it's still functional. It's still swiveling around, and it does try and shoot at Omega, but Omega is able to bounce back behind the cover before he's hit.
I will try to hit it with my gun. Can I use burst fire on it? Can I do something very broken and use burst fire on it?
Yeah, sure. It is stationary, so it automatically fails dexterity saving throws. So you automatically hit.
Sick. Okay. 2d8. 5. 9. 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. It's not enough to destroy it, but I will say it's enough to render it non-functional. It's got 5 hit points left. So it's hanging there, and it tries to spool up, but the mechanisms are broken. And it's this happens after McGowan, as you see that Alpha and Omega have done a whole bunch of damage. You kind of pop out, aim really quickly, and just shoot off a few rounds, further damaging it. And again, you can see kind of some of the mechanisms trying to move, but it's unable to do that. I will let it shoot at you as you pop out, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a 12, so that I'm sure misses.
Yeah, that misses.
You feel like a couple of the rounds ping off your the shoulder armor, but you've got that bulky, heavy armor on, so it's nothing. But yeah, it's still active, but it doesn't look like it's able to fire. You can kind of see it trying to spool up, but it keeps getting stuck and and the firing mechanisms are no longer functional.
That works for me. I'm gonna go back in and try to hack the terminal again.
Okay, go for it. Try one more time. DC will be higher for the second hacking attempt.
Can I spend a force point to double my dice?
Is that a rule that you have?
No, that's a Star Wars rule.
Oh yeah, then no.
All right, so that is... Oh, it's being funny. It's 26.
26. That is just what you needed with the higher DC.
Good, because 27 would have been my max.
And so the door, you hack the terminal. The door to the armory slides open, and it's not a very big armory. It's not like a huge matrix library gun rack. But there's a few racks that are empty. It looks like these were probably the weapons the people in this building were using to defend themselves, and so were probably taken when they were killed or captured. But you do see a lock. There is a gun locker that is still locked, and a locked explosives crate.
McGowan and I have discovered a weapons locker and explosive crate. If either one of you want anything from up here. McGowan, you get first pick since we are already here.
You said the explosives crate is locked?
They're both locked, so you don't know what's inside them.
Yeah. How heavy is the explosives crate?
It's probably pretty heavy. It's not uncarryable heavy though. I would say one person could carry it with a good athletics check.
Yeah, McGowan's just gonna try to pick up the whole crate.
Sure, yeah. This crate is about the size of like a large toolbox, so it's not huge, but it's heavy. It's pretty heavy. The equipment inside has some weight to it.
Before you do that, is it a digital lock or is it a manual lock?
Both.
Like
a lot of these locks are both. Like, in case the digital doesn't work, there's an analog failsafe so that you can get it open.
Okay, so you would need like tools, and I couldn't just try to hack it.
You could try hacking tools check as well. There's like a number pad on it for a digital like key code, but there is also an option. There is also a way to unlock it the old-fashioned way if that's malfunctioning for whatever reason.
Okay, well then I'll try to hack both of them.
Okay,
first,
so start. Which one do you want to start with?
I'll just do my black die is the black die is the weapons crate, and the colored die is the explosives. So the weapons crate I got a 17, and the explosives I got a 25.
Okay, so the gun locker you are not able to get open, but you are able to get the explosives crate open. And in the explosives crate, there are 6 explosives. There are 2 cane trip mines, 2 frag grenades, and 2 arc grenades, all Mark 1.
I don't want to leave any of that behind. Yeah, McGowan's going to close the lid on the explosives crate and just pick up the whole crate.
Make an athletics check to carry it, because it's heavy. You'll be able to do it, but it'll basically determine how much effort is required.
Can't you just like put that stuff in your bag? Do you have to carry the whole crate?
So I guess don't really have like backpacks, so to speak, because like in a lot of the elements of the tabletop are meant to try and feel like the video game in some respects, and there's no inventory in the Mass Effect video games beyond the first one. And so the way we've kind of worked around it is that you guys don't have like backpacks, but there is cargo storage space in your Mako. So if it's something that you can carry that doesn't you can't like carry extra guns in a gunfight. You have to put those down. But if you're just trying to transport stuff to your vehicle, you can just carry it. It's fine.
Well, I got an 8.
It's pretty heavy.
10. Does that change it?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but you are able to carry it. No critical failures or nothing super scary happens. But it's a heavy crate, and you're a bit winded by the time you get outside to the Mako. You're kind of breathing heavily. You're not sweating, but it's a heavier crate than you thought, and you had to carry it down the stairs, and so you're a bit winded, but you're not like exhausted or anything.
McGowan is taking the explosives to the Mako. We still need somebody who is able to pick the weapons locker up here.
Well, the weapons locker is like a gun cabinet. It's not something that could be moved easily.
Oh, that's why I said we need somebody to come pick the weapons locker.
Ah, sure, I see.
Rhea, would you like to come pick a locker? Or Tork, did you want to bust it open?
Okay. So Rhea, you run back upstairs after a brief exchange with, I guess we'll cut to downstairs. Rhea, you've run back down, and Tork is there standing with Hector, kind of looking at the wall as Hector is telling him that, as Tork is finishing up his recording, his message for the marshal. So you come back down, and that Tork is wrapping that up.
And do I hear Hector asking if there's anything else he can do?
Yeah.
Knowing that I can provide him a better life, I go. Hector, actually, yes. I'm interested in offering you a proposition. I need a personal assistant, someone that just caters and tends to me at almost all times, stealthily. Would you mind doing that for me, Hector?
Let's see, what is this going to be? Go ahead and make...
Wait, I get to make like a persuasion check because
I'm trying to figure out is because like you're trying to use just like words to override programming, so I don't.
Persuasion.
I don't know if that works.
I mean, I'm a hacker too. Is it a combo?
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to try and like hack into Hector, you can do that while you're talking to him.
No, I want this to be of his own free will. That's her thing.
GIs don't have free will, though. They're literally incapable of having free will.
Would it answer me then and say, yeah, I will help you?
What Hector would say, Hector turns around, kind of, again, very C-3PO-like in his movements, a little smoother, turns around and looks at you, and he says, I appreciate the offer, madam, but I am programmed to assist the marshals and the deputy marshals of Losan in keeping their workspace clean and tidy.
Well, as you can see, my dear Hector, it seems as if your marshals may have perished as mortals can. And if you are in need of a new and kind person to serve, I would very much like to apply for that position.
I could take a message for Marshal Karash, and you could discuss it with him at another time. He is currently out of the office, however.
Out of his
I
mind.
know he's out of the office, Hector.
I could take a message for Marshal Karash. He is currently out of the office, however.
He doesn't want to go with you.
Talk?
What?
What's he gonna do? Sit here and just oxidize?
I am programmed to keep the offices of Marshal Karash and his lieutenant deputies clean and tidy.
Well, it doesn't look very clean right now, does it, Hector?
Now you're being mean to him? What?
I should do something about this blood. Fortunately, it comes out of metal quite easily. One moment, and he walks off to the storage closet, and you can hear him kind of gathering. Sounds like he's kind of gathering supplies together, cleaning supplies.
I'm not being mean to him. I'm upset, and she's like doesn't really know how to handle being told no. She's kind of like.
Excellent.
She's like morally decided because she knows that she could like he would love to hang out with them, but at the same time if she takes him by force that's kind of against the point of it all. Like
I love that she's just in denial about virtual intelligences. She's willfully ignorant.
Yeah. She
perfectly
really wants...
happy cleaning up his master's blood.
Do you see how dark that sounds, Tork?
It's a VI. Am I supposed to care?
I punched Tork in the face.
Roll an attack, make an attack roll.
Just like, just a quick one. A quick lesson.
Tork, if you want to try and dodge, you can attempt a dexterity save. If you want to try and dodge.
Hold on.
Or catch the punch or anything.
No.
Wait, where's my unarmed attack?
It would just your unarmed attack will just it's just 1d4. Oh, to hit? Yeah, to hit.
4.
No, sorry, that's for the damage. Yeah, so it'd be
no
14
D20
plus
to hit.
Yeah. I don't think that hits Tork.
Nope.
Or rather, it does, but Tork just like it kind of like you punch him in the face and you kind of like ow. Because Krogan
actually does damage.
Krogan are a lot like
laugh.
They're pretty scaly, kind of bony.
Did you just punch me over trying to liberate a simple VI? Do you have any idea how envious I am of a creature that has directives and purpose and nothing more and nothing less?
She pulls her hand back and she goes, ouch! Oh my god, that really hurts. Fuck.
I was born on
Alright,
T'Challa.
alright,
What do you want me to
alright.
say?
I thought it would be nice to have Hector on the Mako to clean up your messes and maybe deodorize the effervescent fart noise that just fills it. But, if you don't need him, then we don't need him. And she storms off.
It's at that point you guys both hear Alpha on the comms reporting the explosives crate. And Rhea, you run into McGowan on his way down the stairs carrying the explosives.
Can I grab one side of it just to help him out?
Sure. Go ahead and roll an athletics check. McGowan got a 10. So
Oh, I got a nat 20.
nice. So yeah, McGowan, when Rhea comes and takes one of the handles, you're kind of like just being dragged along behind her. She's still kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
So McGowan, you're like you're kind of like trying to keep up, and she's got most of the weight, and you're just kind of like,
Let
okay,
me
I
help
guess. Sure.
It'd be a lot easier if we had a janitorial robot named Hector, but whatever. And like,
Tork like grabs the edge of his suit and pulls it forward and like tries to like smell down into it.
It's not the worst. It's not like, a guy with a cast on for a month and a half, but
No. Tork doesn't smell. He's been on the press junket for long enough, but he doesn't
fair enough.
stink.
Fair enough. He's just a little insecure about the comment though.
He's like, is my suit's auto cleaning like not working?
It smells fine to me.
Hector.
Oh.
she just knows how to get in that one line that kind of cuts, fucks with your head a little bit.
Hector, can you smell me?
I do not have olfactory senses. I am sorry.
I love Hector. Why does he hate me?
I'd ask this guy to smell me, but I don't think he can.
He is missing his head.
Yes, Hector. Yes.
Yes.
I don't see it anywhere in this room. Do you know where he might have misplaced it?
I was asked previously where it was.
No, and actually, don't clean this up. This is all evidence. You can go back to sleep, Hector.
I mean, do the rest of us hear any of this, or is that just them?
It's in the basement, so
I
probably
was
not
already
unless you go
leaving
down to the
because
basement.
I'm pissed.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I'm helping
McGowan is now aware that there's a janitorial mech named Hector, but he has not seen Hector.
And I don't think he's gonna ask Rhea about it at this point because
He's a little worried. Got something going on. Not gonna touch that one.
I mean, Alpha and Hector might speak the same language. You could always ask him to interpret.
Yeah, if Alpha wants to, it's up to you guys. That is a possibility.
Would you come downstairs if we were all down? Because we'd have to run into you to have this conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
if we're
Alpha's
still downstairs. Then like,
we could just use our Omni tools to talk to each other too.
I mean, McGowan, are you gonna tell Alpha that I'm acting a fool?
I will say that Ray, you were going to go upstairs to help hack a cabinet, but you've now stormed off in a state. So Alpha, you're probably still waiting up there for Rhea.
Yep.
So
You might
do
hit
with that.
me up.
Do with that information what you will.
Eloreya, Alpha needs your help upstairs. He might be able to help with your friend downstairs.
Oh, god damn it! I forgot about that. And she just drops the fucking explosives thing and starts to storm off back the other way.
And you catch it before it hits the ground, McGowan.
Yeah.
Like you kind of feel like something in your back whinge a little bit. It's like, oh, that's gonna tighten up real good.
All right, I'll load it on the Mako and then sort of holding my back a little bit, just sort of slowly go back into the marshal's office.
Carry it the rest of the way.
I guess Rhea, you go upstairs and you find Alpha and Omega in the armory, standing in front of a cabinet. It's 5-6 feet tall, 3-4 feet wide, metallic. There's a little digital keypad that's got a flashing, or it's like the little screen that shows, that kind of confirms whether you've put in the code correctly or not, is currently like flat blinking red. But Alpha is able to point out the analog lock that you're able to attempt to pick if you've got. It's one of those things where, like, if you don't have the tools for it, I'll still let you attempt it, but it would be at disadvantage to try and pick the lock. So if you have, and I think I do believe they still have lock picking tools. Let me double check. Gear screen is gone. Why is the gear screen gone? There it is. Nope, those are my bookmarks. Equipment. Gear. There we go. Can do by tools. Sorry, I just want to double see if these things are here. It would be thieves' tools. So if you have a set of thieves' tools, you can make a straight thieves' tool check, which is again proficiency plus dex if you are proficient with thieves' tools. Otherwise, you can make the check, but I would say it's a disadvantage without the tools if you don't have them.
You're muted again, Rad.
You're muted.
You're muted.
What are we waiting on?
Rhea, are you going to attempt to pick this lock?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't realize we were already back to the lock. I was.
Yeah. You as soon as you left
me
the
tell
gown,
Alpha about the whole Hector thing, but
well,
no,
yeah, you can
picking the lock.
Well, no, you can do that while this is going on. I just so yeah, you can either if you're proficient with your thieves' tools, if you have thieves' tools, and you can use them. If you don't have them, you can still attempt to pick the lock, but it will be at disadvantage because you don't have the proper equipment.
I have thieves' tools because that was a part of her.
Oh, nice,
thing,
nice.
Because she's a rogue.
Yep, yeah, infiltrator.
Basically,
Same kind of a thing.
But I don't think I'm unsure if I have proficiency in it because it's just not I can't find it on my sheet for some reason. I've been
okay, well you can still make the check. It just would be without your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, so that is a 13.
13.
Without proficiency.
It is not going to be enough to pick the lock. It's a really complex lock. It's a high security lock. There are weapons on the other side of it.
She's also
So.
flustered. So,
Yes. She's not on her A game at the moment. But we all have those moments. So yeah, well, while you're doing that, if you want to communicate to Alpha, go for it.
Well, yeah, she's trying to pick the lock, and she's just like harumphing and angry.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to tell Alpha about...
No, I was like, she wouldn't bring it up. Like, she's just mad about it. She doesn't want to bring it up. She lost.
I sense additional distress in your voice. Is everything okay?
Do you need a hug?
No. But it is kind of bullshit because there's like this janitorial robot downstairs, right? And he's really cute. His name's Hector. And I thought maybe he could follow us around and be our friend. But he thinks that he needs to be a thing of the marshals. But I'm pretty sure the marshals are all dead because obviously we're here and they're dead. So I'm not really sure if it's unethical for me to reprogram him to not have a master at all or be mine. Ours. But Tork said that he didn't really care and he called me stupid things and I'm mad at him. And then also Hector said that he was still just loyal to the marshals. So here we are. And she goes back at the lock like mad.
Let me explain it to you this way. Droids are less like people and more like guns. If you want to take your rifle and turn it to a sniper rifle, would you add a sniper scope or tell it to shoot farther?
Fine.
But I'm a droid.
Quiet, you're not helping.
See? They know what's going on. See,
That was a joke. I am not a droid.
You're still not helping, and you are a droid.
You're confusing her.
You are confusing her. Have we managed to de-stress you? Will you pick the lock better now?
Ah! She throws down her thieves' tools and then picks them up and puts them in her pocket and walks away.
Excellent. Okay.
I will go down to Hector and attempt to reprogram him.
Okay. Go ahead and make a.
I pout.
You go ahead and so when you go to try and hack Hector, you find that you can either hack him or he will accept the input of a martial badge ID number.
And with all the computers that I've hacked, would I happen to have that number? Actually, I do have that number. It was off of that one email.
You do from Kara Ford. Kara Ford. Yep.
Although that email doesn't seem to be in the folder anymore. But yes, I will go through and I will use that number and go through and reprogram him.
Okay, so yeah, he stands there while he says, hello, sir. How may I help you? And you start kind of fiddling with his programming, and when you finish, he kind of powers down for a second, and powers back up, and he says, I am Hector, low-key janitorial mech. At your service. Please issue command.
Your commands are to follow the instructions of...
Your commands are to follow the instructions of Rhea. If she is to tell you to follow, you will follow. If she is to set you free, you will go and find a new master. Most of all, you will give her hugs when she is sad.
Very good. Who is Eloreya?
So Omega will go back up to Rhea.
Hector wants to talk to you.
Hello, master. I am here at your service. Is there anything I can assist you with?
And she goes, Hector! And she gives him like the biggest hug, and it's the first time she's...
He just stands there.
It's in his orders to hug me back.
Only when you are sad.
Oh. Yeah, no, she's thrilled.
I am pleased to be of service. Please
Hector.
input command.
Additional commands. Whenever she is happy, pat her on the head.
Very good.
And Rhea just has the sheepish grin and then looks around and is like, very good, Hector. This will work. She's very pleased now and not mad.
Another thing that you found, Alpha, that you would have found as you were reprogramming him, is that he does have audio and video recordings saved to his memory bank.
Oh, damn, Hector.
Is that something that I could download from him and then just kind of go through them there quickly to see if there's anything in there that we can use?
Yeah. Take a couple minutes to
Project
do that.
them in like a montage for us.
Yeah, or send them to your Omni tools, which have sort of like screens that can materialize and dematerialize.
I kind of figure if I could download them being with the Geth brain, I could probably play them and fast forward and still gather the same information. And then anything that's actually worth sharing, I go through and share that with everybody.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of it is just footage of him cleaning, standing around in rooms, people walking around him, occasionally seeming to maybe straighten something out on him or clean a little bit of scuff off of him. He's just mostly just him just kind of doing what he was programmed to do. But you do occasionally see people being brought in, to be thrown in a cell or questioned or whatever. And near the end, one of not the last, but from about a week ago, maybe a little more than that, there is footage of him. He looks to be cleaning up in the entryway, the main entry room, and there is a video log of a human, a tall human, maybe about 6'4", long, like greasy black hair that comes down to his shoulders. It's not kept up really. It's just sort of matted and falling around his face. It looks very pale, almost like sort of sallow faced, like his skin is drawn, so his cheekbones are prominent. And he's being hauled in. He's currently, his hands are behind his back in a set of hard light handcuffs, and he's cursing and screaming at a Batarian, a human, and a Turian. A human female, a Turian male, and a Batarian male. And the Turian and the human are kind of dragging him in, and the Batarian is out in front. And he's cursing at the Batarians. Fuck you, Karash, fuck you. Krawl's gonna come here and he's gonna tear this whole fucking town apart when he finds out that you got me. He's gonna fucking kill you. He's gonna cut out your fucking throat and eat your heart, you son of a bitch. And he's just like unhinged, like kind of crazy person. And eventually he just kind of is taken out of sight and you can't hear him anymore.
Hell yeah.
And you do, yeah, that's what you would get. Sorry. Misread something.
Sorry, I was taking notes. I'm going to go through and do a video capture of a good shot of him and send it to everybody else in their Omni tool. And go through and let them know.
Hector had video log. Most likely, this particular person is Victor Sybin, which was in the log stating that he was the one that the Red Corsairs were coming to free.
Seems like a nice guy.
Which one was he? The one that was swearing or the one that was being sworn at?
Victor Sybin was the one doing the swearing, the one that was being held by two men as he was yelling and kicking.
Tork, it looks like the Turian in the footage is the decapitated Turian in the basement, based on the clothes in the recording.
Still doesn't show us where his head is.
Maybe they have it as a trophy, so you couldn't have it.
It also helps if I click onto the right voice mod.
Dude, why are you so needy? Calm down.
Well, if we don't have anything else we want to check, we should probably head back to town.
Normally that's my cats.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a plan to everybody.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are kind of done here.
Did you get that gun safe open?
No, you did not get the gun locker open.
Okay, well, that's sad.
Hector, do you have or know where there are keys to the gun safe?
Marshal Karash keeps the keys and the code on his person. He is not in his office now. I could take a message, but I am now serving a new master, so I no longer have access to his personal files.
It's me, Eloreya.
Yes, it is. Hello, madam.
He doesn't.
I love
have,
you.
He doesn't have access to the personal. Wasn't his body here somewhere?
You found the bodies of two deputy marshals. There's the human woman who's dead in the office, and there's the decapitated Turian in the basement. But there's no sign. There is a dead Batarian, but he's not wearing anything that seems to indicate that this is Marshal Karash. He's not in a uniform. He's kind of in plain clothes. So it's probably not him. But yeah, you have not found any signs of. You haven't seen the body of Marshal Karash, or no bodies that you can identify.
And Karash was a Batarian?
He was Batarian male. Based on the footage, he looked to be maybe like late middle-aged.
Karash was in the footage.
Yes, he was at the head of the group leading who you assume to be Victor Sabian into the office. He was the Batarian kind of at the head of the group. Like he looks like middle age for Batarian, but still big and strong. He's kind of like
Tough.
Yeah, he's kind of he's an older guy, but he's still tough, leathery. He's been doing this gig for a while. Just the way he carries himself in the
Hector.
footage.
Hector, do you have any kind of tracking device and or global positioning system to let you know where Karash would be?
I am sorry. When working for Marshal Karash, I was merely a janitorial mech. I did not have access to any security files. All the footage that I have recorded that you have just perused is from my own personal databanks.
Sweet.
Alpha's going back to the cargo truck.
Right, fair enough. Hector follows you out, Rhea. And I'll send you a picture of what a Loki mech looks like later, so you can get a good sense of.
Tork receives a ping on his multi-tool. Oh, sweet! They restored my whole account. Oh, thank God. Oh, my character is back.
It only
Oh,
took 3 hours, but excellent.
I'm
Haven't got that
Hey
figured
man,
out.
I've been on hold with Microsoft tech support over Xbox account problems for days. So 3 hours is a good amount of time. I've never recovered my original Xbox Live account because Hotmail is not a thing anymore. So, and that's what they wanted you to use when I signed up for Xbox Live in 2008. So, there goes all that content and all those achievements and all that money that I put into that account. Just never get it again. Anyways,
What are the rules?
Well, I just figured I would give Tork a happy ending, seeing as my character sheet is gone. Just gone.
yeah, we'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed.
Woof. It'll be okay.
It's
But yeah,
fucking bullshit.
We now have a new NPC, babe.
well, it's about 10 o'clock here, so I was just gonna start wrapping things up. So as you guys kind of load up back into the trucks, that you arrived in with a mech in tow. Unfortunately, well, without the people, and there is room for Hector in the Mako without the rest of the crew, without Torque and Alpha and Omega over in the other truck. There is enough room for Hector in the Mako. I was gonna say because under normal circumstances, there's probably not room for him in the Mako with the full load because it's already super cramped. If you've ever seen the inside of like a tank, it's a bit like that. It's very, very crowded. There's not really extra room for stuff that is not vital to the operations of the machine. But you got room right now. And you guys load up, payload undelivered. There's no one to deliver it to. And kind of still, late morning by now, so you guys have been looking around the town for a couple hours. It's a sunny day today, so there's a lot of glare coming up off the snow, but the sun kind of takes the edge off the bitter cold of the. You guys are kind of into Omaran winters, and you guys make your way out of the ghost town of Losan, out and back, kind of backtracking the way you came. That's where we'll pick up in 2 weeks.
Hooray!
Because it's just about 10 o'clock, and traveling on the road, there's, rolling for random encounters, anything could happen. So don't want to get stuck into something that could take a while. So we'll pick up in 2 weeks. This was a very good session. Lots of great role play.
I'm thrilled with Hector.
Yeah, and you have now checked another box of the Dungeons and Dragons adventuring party. Carry around adopt a mostly useless NPC.
Yes.
I literally sent a message where I was just like, and I just adopted an NPC, and it's going to die very shortly, and I'm going to be devastated because I already love him.
Hey, well, maybe you could find some use for him at Gree's place until you have a more permanent place for him to occupy. Because if you guys ever get your own spaceship, be useful to have someone on there cleaning things up. If you
guess
get a big
I'll-
enough ship, and if you get a big enough ship, you do actually need to hire a crew. So
I guess I'll get Hector to clean my smelly suit.
Did I say it was just you? I said the ever-present smell of farts. That's all I said.
Well, we're 3 of 5 organics together, so that means it's 1/3 you.
Yeah, and I still befriend McGowan, so yeah, it's you. But
just
Do I smell like farts? Is this a problem?
ever since you've stopped, being with the multitudes of ladies, you've just apparently really not kept up on your maintenance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's just Fart City now. Sure.
All right, well,
As a
anyways,
companion, yes.
anyways, we'll
Hector, tell me every time I smell like farts.
Hector, don't listen to him.
as you say, madam.
I love Hector.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks. It's been a while. Those of you who have
Yes.
been kind of watching us and following things along since the beginning, we were gone for a while for a bunch of good, real life reasons. But hopefully we're back now regularly. We won't have too many more interruptions for a while, and now that we've had one session run in our new setup, next time things will be easier, more smooth, and maybe one of these days we'll get to show off the music we've picked out for the fine audience at home.
No.
We've got a whole bunch of playlists of license-free music we've been sitting on for a couple of months now.
License free. It's
License-free.
It's free.
So, yeah, hopefully we'll have cause to tap into that next time. But again, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. Good night.